Everyone has been commenting about the increased production value of the Sunday Antisocial, and I want you to know, this is important, because this reveals what it's really like to be an artist, right? So my life is total chaos, and I have a tiny house, as I always bitch about. I have a tiny house and a child, and as anyone who has ever had a child knows, when you have a child, people give you things for the child. The child accumulates. There's so much shit that belongs to the child. I have no idea. How did we live? How did we live before we had a child? I guess we just had nothing in our house. That's what it feels like, because everything belongs to the child. But then they're a child. They grow out of their shit. They don't want it anymore. But they also don't want to get rid of it, right? So you gotta like wait till the child is asleep. I was gonna say in a Benadryl-induced coma, but that's letting on a little too much. You wait till the child is asleep, and then you sneakily move the shit to the garage. And that is how your garage becomes your photo studio becomes full of crap. But you also get to this point in family life where you're like, okay, nothing is ever gonna change. So when I decided I was gonna start making more videos, instead of actually cleaning up the garage, I just bought a new lens that could render the background out of focus. That's it. Everybody's like, oh, you're really on your game, Gribbs. No, I just have a garage full of shit. I don't want you to see it. This is the Gribbly's Folly Sunday Antisocial Hour, that time each week when I smoke my pipe and complain about humanity while answering all of its questions. And if you are a piece of humanity with a question for me, put it in the comments down below with the hashtag AskGribbs. I answer any question. Anyone you could possibly imagine, big, small, personal, little tiny questions. Keep you up at night. You know those questions. I had my first sleep paralysis experience this week. Holy shit. That was, normally I have the little questions that keep me up at night. How am I gonna afford food? That kind of thing. But this was a big question thing because it fit all the tropes of sleep paralysis, right? I couldn't move. I was in a room that looked like, I knew it wasn't my room. I know that normally people have sleep paralysis. They think they're in their own room and there's like an intruder. No, I knew that the room was not mine, but there was a woman in the bed who was not my wife. And things got intensely sexual with this woman who I later realized was a freaking demon. She was a demon. She was trying to kill me, and I died. I actually died. And I'm in the dream after I realized, like, maybe I shouldn't be making out with this demon, which I think normally in sleep paralysis / succubus lore, you don't actually realize that. Like, you just go with it, right? But then you wake up and you're like, why? What happened? But I realized it as it was happening. I was like, no, this is not a road I want to go down. I don't believe in demons. I'm definitely not going to have sex with them. And so in the dream, I pushed her away, but then everything went dark. Everything went dark. And I tried to turn on the lights and I flipped the switch and I knew that the lights came on, but the room didn't get any brighter. And so I pulled out my flashlight that I always carry in my pocket, and the dream was so real. I could feel the texture, like the metal, the jimping of the flashlight, and I felt the click. No light. And then I realized that death is just a state where you can't see light. It was horrifying. I totally understand now why we have legends about demons that visit us in the night. And this doesn't even seem to be as spooky as the normal sleep paralysis tropes of like that you're just paralyzed and there's someone in the room coming closer. Like that seems even spookier than what I experienced. But man, it was awful. Like I have been afraid to go to sleep ever since. Fortunately, I have a lot of insomnia, so that's pretty easy. Now I'm smoking. This is interesting. I'm smoking my Missouri Meerschaum Xenon hardwood pipe, and I'm getting it broken in. It's getting better. In the pipe, I am smoking Cornell & Deal's Sweet English. And I have connotations with the word sweet that aren't the best. Anytime you put sweet in a tobacco name, you're kind of running a risk there. But I read the inscription. I read the inscription on the tobacco, No, that's just the smoker's warning. I read the description, that's the word I'm looking for, on the on Pipes and Cigars, or wherever the hell it was I ordered it. And it sounded pretty good, and I was looking for an all-day smoke kind of blend. And I'd been looking at the Carter Halls and the Chatham Manors and all that, as you know, and so I moved over to, well, like, what happens if we add a little bit of stronger tobacco, and I came to Sweet English. Now, my initial review is, it's pretty good. In fact, it is exactly what it says it is. It's a sweet codger blend that also kind of tastes like an English. And I feel like in terms of the veracity of the description, hits it out of the park. Unfortunately, there is a weird caveat. When you actually smell the tobacco in the pouch, it smells like puke, like actual puke. I'm literally, that is the thing that comes to mind is like, man, when my roommate got really drunk in college and threw up, this is what the bathroom smelled like. And I don't know if I can get over that. Like, I don't know how good the tobacco would have to be for me to not think that every time I open the pouch. Okay, I'm stalling because I'm nervous about this. Okay, all right, here we go. We're just gonna do it. I have a tremendous announcement. I don't know if you guys remember, about 3 years ago, it was in 2020, I snuck out in the middle of the night on Halloween, or thereabouts, to take a picture of an abandoned, derelict clock tower in the middle of an abandoned, derelict field.
There's something moving toward me through the grass, very far away, but definitely moving toward me. I really hope it's a deer.
In the middle of this giant industrial property that has been derelict and abandoned for years, and it is the last remaining piece of a 100-year-old factory that brought untold economic success to this area, this little community on the outskirts of Asheville. And I was super into it at the time because they were getting ready to tear this clock tower down, and I thought, I gotta go out there and I gotta get a picture of this thing. So I made a video about it, and it was actually pretty well received. It was very like lo-fi and not really well done, and spooky.
I guess there's nothing else to do but shoot. Here we go. And the shutter is open. And this exposure is done. All right, all done.
But it was Halloween, so it worked out, right? Since then, the developer responded to public outcry, decided not to tear the clock tower down. It's been 3 years. And as a photographer, you should always assume that you can never photograph something twice, right? Like, you go and you get the best shot you can because you don't know if it's going to be there for very long. And so I had this weird second chance. They decided not to tear down the thing that I took pictures of because they were going to tear it down. Had this weird second chance. And so for the last several years, I've been kind of taking pictures of this thing every now and then. And then I thought, you know what I should do? I should get together all my shots of this thing, and I should put them out on my Patreon as just like, hey, like for posterity, here's this. And then I thought, you know, I should go over and I should get some new pictures. Like, if I'm going to do this for posterity, like we need some really formal pictures of this clock tower. And then as I was over there, I started looking around, and then I had a book-length work. I have a book. I made a book about this clock tower, and I know that it seems kind of weird for people that aren't from Asheville. Like, do you guys want to see this book about? Oh, I'm sorry. Hang on. It's free. That's what I should have led with. Free book. I'm gonna put it. That's the title of this video. Free book. Actually, do you even need to say book? Right? In marketing 101, you're just like, just say free. Free doesn't free show. Free book. Free sleep paralysis demon. Whatever. Just it's free. And so I'm not trying to make money. Yeah, we'll start there. What I am trying to do is take pictures of this place that isn't going to be there forever. Another developer will buy it. They'll tear it down. They undermined the foundation. Well, I don't know that for sure, so I won't say it out loud. But I kind of think that developers look at the clock tower as like, no, this is going to slow us down. We'd much rather this just not be here. So from that sense, it's like a historic piece of building that is going to come down. Isn't that interesting? But what I found when I was out there taking these pictures is that this place is actually a giant symbol of a time when the American economy was completely different than it is today. And the fact that it has been left to rot in a field that has been left to rot is immensely meaningful. And then there's like nature is re-encroaching on this spot. Can't build there because it was a factory, or can't build houses because it was a factory, and people will die from the stuff that's in the soil or whatever. And so people keep trying to develop, but then no one can figure out a way to make it profitable. And the government keeps dumping money into this site to try to entice a developer to come in and build something to bring jobs. But then the developers, like after they get the money and they build like a bridge or whatever, or like they like cut a new little path and they pave it, and then they're like, you know, we're out. What a dramatic analog for the way things are in American society and the American job market and the American industry, the state of American industry. What an incredible symbol. And I was taking these pictures, and then I looked at what I had, and I was like, it's also incredibly visually arresting. And you've got homeless camps on the outskirts, you've got graffiti, you've got like the visuals of this place are remarkable. And so I made a book, and now I'm releasing it for free because I'm a terrible business person. I don't want it to be transactional of like, you give me some money, I give you these photos. Like, it's not about that. For maybe one thing if you're gonna hang it on the wall, but like, this is about taking, like this is a piece of a community. The people that live near this thing drive by it every day. I don't want to be like, oh, I've got the lock on the best views of this thing, but also what I found there really matters on a community level. And so it's free. I'm making it free. You can get it at the link below. Even if you're not from here, you've never seen this place before in your life, you can get it at the link below. There are actually really good photos in this book. So I'm putting the link down there. You got to sign up for my mailing list, and I email you the link to the download. It's that simple. It doesn't taste like puke. Every now and then I get a whiff of the thing in the pouch that smells like puke, and I can tell it's the same thing. I don't know what it is. I can tell it's the same thing, but it doesn't taste like puke when it's burning, which is good. I would not smoke it. I think that's a pretty low bar, Cornell and Deal. Pretty low bar. Can you make a tobacco that doesn't taste like puke as you're smoking it? Smells like puke in the pouch. That's one thing, you know? Isn't that why Dunhill went under? You know? Anyway, I don't know if you can tell, but I'm having a bit of an artistic crisis, right? Everything that I have been doing the last 4 years for art, for the sake of art, has kind of failed, and I'm a bitch about it. You know, I'm still doing it. I'm making this book, and I've done all this stuff in the woods, but social media has changed so much. The YTPC has changed so much. I've gotten all these comments on my video, which was just for me, as I was making it, it was like a total like throwaway. It was just a ramble. I was sitting in my yard reminiscing about what the YTPC used to be, and I'm getting all these comments on this video from people where it really hit home. Let's see. Let me get my phone out, and we'll get the Ask Rib stuff going. So the Beard and the Babe. Oh, by the way, the Beard and the Babe is such a great name for a channel because it immediately, like, especially if you're marketing to like middle-aged pipe smoking dudes, right? Because we immediately are like, well, I want to see the Babe. Like, let's go. I mean, like, I don't care about the Beard, but like, let's see the. Like, it immediately sets up. If you just called yourself the Babe, no one would care. But the fact that you've set up this dichotomy between, hey, there's a guy just like me, the Beard, who has a babe, like, holy shit, the guy is like walking pipe smoker success. Anyway, I went and I checked out the Beard and the Babe, and I say this as someone who can entirely relate, sir. You married up, congratulations. The Beard and the Babe and Lars Hermans, which is a German name, so I don't know if I'm, because at first I read it and I was like, Lars Hermans, but Lars, and Black Rook 1, this really interesting comment section between the three of these folks on that video about what has changed in the YTPC and why. And I think, as someone that just spent part of my video selling something, I think what I'm seeing is everybody's selling something. The Beard and the Babe is selling something. They're over there making awesome products. So when you join the YTPC, and I've seen this happen over and over again, people join and they're like, I did it too. People join and they're like, cool, this is a hobby. People are really interested in this. This is a passion for me. How can I monetize this? And it's a basic human, like we're talking about, like you're a piece of humanity, right? You want this dream of, I want to make money doing what I love, and I don't want to have a boss telling me how to do it. And so you pursue your hobby as some sort of, side hustle or even full-time hustle in my case. And then the YTPC becomes a bunch of commercials. And it kind of always was. Like, one of the people that I say that I miss so much is Aristocop. He was just making commercials. He was just trying to sell his pipes. But the value of Aristocop's channel was, he was honest. He was honest. It's not just a commercial. It's like, hey, I'm out here, I'm selling this stuff, but like, this is what I really think about it. And that is the bar that I set for myself. Speaking of low bars, my tobacco doesn't taste like puke, right? If I am here talking to you, I am being honest with you. And though I have made a book and I'm putting it out there, that's free. It's a free book. Go get the book. But I think that social media and the YTPC has been leveraged to the point now where we've lost, as a whole, we've lost. That honesty is becoming incredibly hard to find because so many people see it as an avenue to monetize their passion. Kiddo started first day of school this week, and I took him in, and there's like this big poster on the wall that's like, what did it say? It was like, raising the next generation's success. So, one of those things that like teachers pin letters to the board. So it's not exactly like a well thought out message or anything. That's insulting to the teachers, but it wasn't. Raising the next generation of success. Well, aren't we more concerned about raising the children? Shouldn't we raise no, we care about the success, but I know what the double entendre is, we're raising the success. We're making the success is more successful because your kid goes to this specific public school. Like, that's the implicit thing, is like, we are out here making your kid more successful in the North Carolina public education system. But then it's like, how do you define success? So if my kid grows up and gets a good job, can he come back to third grade and say, hey, I'm successful. I lived up to these letters you pinned on the cork board because I got a good job. I'm making X amount per year. What is success? I asked a friend of mine, talking about this thing, everyone's trying to sell something, especially creatives. We all want to have this, like, we want to monetize our passion, right? And so I have a million of those people in my life because that's my community. And I was asking a friend about this. What's your definition? Well, my definition is, what did she say? I wrote it down. She said, I woke up this morning excited to do my work. And that's my definition of success. My definition of success is paying someone else to mow my lawn. Like, seriously, if I'm sitting on my porch drinking a frosty beverage and watching someone else do my yard work, I am a successful person. This is why I'm a terrible business person. It doesn't take much to get someone else to mow your lawn. You want $100 a month? You don't need to make a lot of money for that. Now, I can't afford it right now. But there's some people, they define success as having a yacht that gets protested in Sweden or whatever, Jeff Bezos, whatever happened where they wouldn't lower the bridge. Like, that's success for them. I want to have a yacht that's so big it inconveniences the rest of the world, right? No, mine is, I just don't want to do the yard work. I want to make enough money that I can pay some other schmuck to do that. And that's not a good definition of success. Sometimes I start making these videos and I'm just like, God, I'm pathetic. But I think we, and by we I mean the YTPC and YouTubers and society as a whole, we had this thing in social media that was a success we didn't know we had. We had like this way of communicating with people that had never existed before in history, where we communicate directly. We're not, I mean, you're paying your ISP, but you're not, you think about the days before long distance phone call. Think about not even before think of when I was growing up and you called someone long distance, that was real money that you were spending to talk to your friend on the other side of the country. And now it's just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna send an instant message to my friend in Denmark and they'll send one right back. I just got a message. Okay, it wasn't from my friend in Denmark, but it was from my wife telling me there's a warthog at the watering hole. Man, that would make a good video title too. Free warthog at the watering hole. We've been watching this webcam from Nambia, and and it's like a live webcam of this watering hole in Nambia, and now there's a warthog, and she's like sending me a message. She's sitting at work. I'm working right now. This is my work time. We're sending each other messages while we're at work, being like, hey, there's a warthog at the watering hole that's in front of this webcam in Nambia. That's social media. Like, that is, and it was free. We didn't pay for that. We didn't pay to see a live view of this warthog slurping water out of this muddy hole in Nambia. It is a level of information available to people that never existed before, and it was this amazing thing. And then big corporations realized they could make money on it. And it's always been, Zuckerberg has always been making money on Facebook, and Google's always been making money. Like, I don't actually begrudge those big corporations their money, but what happened is they realized they could make more money if they invented influencers to make the money for them. And instead of this amazing social thing where we're all talking to each other all over the world at the same time, and we're having new ideas and we're having new conversations, now we have crowdsourced television. Like, that's all it is. You sit there and you watch stuff mindlessly. And, as a YouTuber, I guess I'm part of it, but I like to think that my videos encourage a little more interaction and thought. I mean, we have a back and forth. I should get to your questions. Hang on. Truckin' Piper Bob asks Gribbs, the wife wants to start crafting in my garage. The garage I've shaped into my world and piped in for years. And then he just kind of trails off. And I would trail off too. Because yes, that is quite an intrusion, a usurpation, an invasion. But okay, let me reframe. Let's talk about this from a lot of different perspectives. Number one, my first reaction, and I think everyone's first reaction is, this is a hill to die on. No, this is your garage, bro. You've got to defend this space. This is not a space for crafting. What? Arts and crafts? Who the hell does that? But let me here. I'm gonna let everybody in on a little husbandly wisdom, right? Okay, because I know there's some folks that have been married. Maybe they're not married anymore. Maybe you've never been married. Maybe you're a young buck and you've just started smoking pipes and you found my channel. I don't know why you'd be able to relate to anything I say here because I'm really old and curmudgeonly. But I am still married. So listen, first, Truckin' Piper Bob, this is a little pet peeve that I have. When men refer to their wives as the wife, I think a reframe is in order. My wife is never the wife. She is my wife. Because, like the beard and the babe, I married up, and I want to claim her every chance I get. My wife also likes to come down to the garage and do things, although neither of us can really function in this chaos. And it does cause me anxiety because my wife does not like to be, she doesn't particularly mind my pipe smoking, but she does not want to be in an environment that is smoky. And I respect that. I grew up with a father who was chain smoking L&Ms all day long. I hated it too. She grew up in a smoky house. Neither of us want that. That's why I have hard lines against smoking inside. And but so when she comes down here and she spends a lot of time down here, I start thinking, is she going to ask me not to smoke my pipe in the garage? So what I think truly is a hill to die on is you need a space where you can be offensive. Every human being is offensive. We smell bad. We say hurtful things. We have emotions that we'd rather not express to the world. You need a space where you can be your worst self. And oftentimes we find that if we're in that space long enough, you become your best self. That's what's happening here, right? Where I determined that I'm pathetic. That's what, I really shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have said that out loud. But you need a space where you can do all the things that you can't do in front of everyone. So part of it is just privacy. But the other aspect of this is you've been married for years. You've had this space that you've cultivated for years. Wouldn't it be an interesting experiment? And I know it's tough because these experiments often aren't reversible. Like once someone is in a crafty space, they don't ever want to leave it, just like we were protective of our spaces. You're afraid that your wife is going to make a space that she's going to be protective of, and then you got territorial issues. But wouldn't it be an interesting experiment to let her into that space? How could your relationship grow if you both did your stuff together? Or how could it fall apart? That's the better question. Never mind, stay the course. Keep her out of there. You don't want to take this risk. But seriously, if she needs a space, but you have to have that bottom line. I'm not going to change. You can come into this space. What you see is what you get here. If my wife wanted to come down here while I was smoking and making videos and doing whatever the hell else I do down here, fine. You are on the deed. You do actually own the property. I can't keep you out. But I'm still going to be smoking my puke tobacco. Like you just got to deal with it. Gribb's rules for marriage. This has actually been, I should not release this video. I've made several fatal errors, not the least of which was like, as a piece of credibility or evidence of my credibility of like offering, hey, I'm still married, like totally jinx it. Now I'm gonna get a divorce. And then I'll have to make a video. I'll have to make a video being like, guys, I'm getting a divorce. But I need you to know it's not because of the pipe. This is the part of making a video where I look back and I'm like, did I check everything off? Did I actually complain about humanity in this video? I think we got some complaining adjacent things done. Do I need to think of something real quick? Hang on. Yeah, okay, I got it. All right, so you're sitting there. You're in your house. They come on the news. They're like, hey, where you're sitting right now, there's getting ready to be a 10.5-foot storm surge. Leave. Get the hell out. What is wrong with people? You built a house there. And I understand, some people don't have the resources to leave. I get it. Yes, you do. Leave. Get the hell out. There's no excuse. There is no excuse for I'm not talking, okay, so you live in a beach town. No, you live on the beach. You live where the storm surge is going to be. You know for certainty you're going to be underwater. What are your options? Why don't you leave? I really want everyone to be safe. I certainly wish the best for everyone. Even if you were a total moron and didn't leave, I still hope someone rescued your ass. But to specifically complain about humanity, this is a strike against us. That we don't have sense enough. We've never had the technology in history before to be like, hey, there's going to be a storm surge right where I am. We've never had that before. You have an amazing opportunity that's never existed in history. Get the fuck out. But we don't. And then the developers will come in just like they will in Maui after the wildfires and they'll say, hey, here's an area that's prone to major disasters. Let's build a house. So that's our short-sightedness as a species. Okay, there. All right, check. Video's done. Go buy my book. Go buy my free book. It doesn't even make sense. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're in a great mood now. I sure am. Keep the ends out for the ties that bind.